I did have a comment or opinion of my own, but my boy Montel, what it do, bruh? He put a comment in here, and I'm gonna just leave the floor open for you all to take a response on it. So he said he loves Allen's leadership, love Allen's deal overall, so he's not complaining. But he falls in that tier three of DTs with like Stephon Tuitt, Hayward, and Pierce type of guys. I look at AD, Chris Jones, Cox as standalone game records. Leonard Williams, Buckner, Kenny Clark are gamers as well. He respects Allen's play, but his play does seem quote unquote seem replaceable. And I leave that comment there, and I want to get you all's thoughts because we did have those conversations, AJ and Dre, about uh, looking down the line and the people that you have to pay, the positions that you have to pay, and things like that. So it's nothing wrong with signing Jonathan Allen, but eventually the question will come about. Damn, did we do this a little bit too early type thing, committing too early to somebody? So with that being said, with what Montel said, where are you all that on his comments and the replaceable comment in particular?
I mean, I think Jonathan Allen, he definitely could have been replaceable with the depth that they have at the position with Ioannidis and Payne, and even a younger guy who hasn't got as many reps as the other two, and Tim Settle. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's tier three. I think he's a tier two. I think Payne is up there in tier two, and Ioannidis. At the end of the day, if I'm not mistaken, I think he pretty much like average per year salary is like 16 million,
Yeah,
and he's still ranked like eighth or ninth at his position. If you're gonna get a guy that wants to sign that type of deal, knowing that they could get paid more, you gotta hurry up and put that contract together and get it signed. Like I don't see a problem with that. I just think what I've seen since his signing was that today
uh,
or yesterday.
Allen
Yesterday.
was yesterday. Yeah,
But his signing since yesterday is like people now think that you have to trade Payne, and you really don't. Salary cap is going to go up. You just got to figure it all out. I mean, you know, it's just one of those things that you got to let play out. But I definitely thought he was replaceable. I thought he could have been used as an asset to go get a quarterback. Right now we kind of know that Deshaun Watson is going to be on the move. I thought that could have been
yeah.
a key piece to, you know, throw in Houston's face to, dangle along with some picks to go ahead and get Watson over. But I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. I think we'll probably talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But I definitely think Payne and Allen are tier two D tackles. I mean, you probably, like I said, you probably want your three technique to produce more sacks, but I mean, you do have Sweat and Young coming off the edge, and a hell of a rotation already at D tackle as well. And I guess we'll see how that goes this year with Ioannidis back healthy for the ability to play more than two games.
Great, Nick, where y'all at with that one?
I think you kind of hit it spot on.
Um,
I'd say
yeah,
he's
I
I say
mean,
he's tier two.
in
Like I think he's right below Aaron Donald, the Chris Jones. I think he's right under them. He's obviously not in that group, but like AJ said, the contract's great for Washington. I mean, it puts you in a pretty good spot. I mean, like you said, the cap's going up next year. They still have plenty of cap space. Obviously, that'll all change if you go try to get a quarterback. You're gonna have to pay a lot of money for that. But um, I don't think he's replaceable by any means, but you could replace him. Might not get the same sort of production, but with this sort of defense, this interior defensive line technique, these guys are playing sort of. It's hard to replace him, but you could do it, but not get as much production. I'm
Yeah,
trying to say that better,
I
but
no, I get it because AJ asked a question last week. If it wasn't last week or 2 weeks ago, you asked is like how far of a drop off was it with Allen and Settle, and I think is that it was two. It was those two, right? Allen and Settle. Um, and in my head, I'm like, I got the point where you was trying to go, but god damn it, if we talking about Allen and Settle, that shit, Settle ain't there
I
yet.
mean,
think
I just,
AJ's Virginia
I
Tech
just feel
bias is
like
coming up.
you can manipulate the scheme to make it work with Ioannidis and Settle together at a cheaper cost. That's how I was viewing it. Because I'm like, if you have those two guys along with Payne, you could definitely manipulate the scheme to get what you was getting out of Allen for a cheaper cost, in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough. Like for me, man, I did feel like he was replaceable, but I felt like it was going to be hard. Like it wasn't easy when it came to Jonathan Allen. I think that the two people that we're talking about the most that's honestly going to be difficult to replace. And as much as I like Ioannidis, I thought it was going to be Allen and Payne. And I think of Payne for his potential. AJ, another thing that I did disagree with was you said that Payne was in that tier 2. I don't think he's there yet. But I'm a huge fan of him. And the reason why I don't think he's there yet is that we understand what we see in Payne, right? We recognize the flashes that he's shown throughout the last 2 or 3 years that he's been here. But the issue is it hasn't come full force. Like he still had his struggles or inconsistencies in pass rushing. He gets to the quarterback clearly more than Allen, obviously statistically. But at the same time, he still had his issues as a pass rusher. And I don't think until you can put it fully together that you can say that he's even in those upper tiers. And that's me speaking objectively about a player that I like more than almost any of the other interior defensive linemen. I'm just not there yet with Payne. But when it comes to Allen in particular, it's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard to replace him. And I think one of the issues is if we moved on or if we committed, one of the questions that I had is if we committed to that man in the event that we did, and it happened to be $16 million, so it kind of negates it. How much money were we going to spend on the rest of the defensive linemen if we had an opportunity to snag a Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers, or if we found a draft or drafted a quarterback after an unforeseen weird season that allowed us to pick a top tier quarterback? If we wanted to commit to a receiver to help out Terry McLaurin or something like that, or just a star player in general to help bolster this offense or defense out. Like that's kind of where I would have got tied into, like saying if Jonathan Allen got here, then we had to worry about 3 or 4 other players in that same position group. I wasn't really ready to commit to Jonathan Allen because of that reason. But $16 million, I'm not one to complain. But that's kind of where I was at with it. Like I wasn't really sold on signing Allen right now, given the other situations at hand.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I disagree with the whole him being kind of replaceable. I'm sure this is one of the few situations where you can look at the interior defensive line and say the drop off in play wouldn't be too significant if you let go of Jonathan Allen. But the thing is, there will be a slight drop off in a sense, but as well, this is something we keep going back to is the leadership. I go back to, the conversation we had with Clinton Portis that time, and he talked about that year. It was 06 when he was saying all the leaders left, like the voices in the locker room were gone and things had changed, and you bring in like Adam Archuleta and guys like that, and thinking you could replace the guys that were doing it for you, and they don't. So I look at Jonathan Allen in a situation like that, and like Jamal, you brought up a great point in Daron Payne, and that I agree that he's not there yet. Now, potential, Daron Payne probably has the most potential of anybody in that interior defensive line, but the thing we haven't seen from Daron Payne is a consistent stretch. Like we need to start seeing consistency from him. We've seen flashes, but now it's to the point where he needs to start showing the consistency, and which is fine because I believe this was the first year we started to see Jonathan Allen start to really put it together. He showed flashes before, but this was clearly his best year. And Payne is going into the same year of experience that Allen was last year. So maybe this year you'll see Payne start to put those consistent stretches together, and maybe he will become the best player on the interior defensive line. But right now, he's not there. And truthfully, we don't know if he's going to get there. I mean, potentially he can, but right now we don't know. But we know what we got in Jonathan Allen right now. We know he brings leadership, and we know he's bringing it on the field right now. So you don't want to lose a guy like that right now because it's just too much unknown in that aspect.